To anybody out there who is getting royally screwed week in and week out in fantasy football, you are not alone. This year, fantasy football for me has actually gotten to the point where I set a lineup on Thursday and I don't check until Tuesday. Because it legitimately ruins my Sundays week after week after week. One of the leagues that I'm in right now, I am 2-6 with the 4th most scored points out of 12 people. But of course, I have the most points scored on me out of anybody. Dak, Dameon Pierce, Zeke, Pollard, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, Drake London, David Njoku, and I'm 2-6. I mean it, guys. I'm never drafting a fantasy team again. I am only playing daily fantasy. I'm gonna go insane! Anyway, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Happy Tuesday. Today's video, I'm actually going to be bringing you guys my power rankings for the first time this year, and I'm doing all 32 teams. Now, I did put a lot of time into this, and I have 8 rough drafts, so understand it eventually got to a point where I said, Wyatt, you just got to pick one and go with it. Real quick, as always, we got a couple of plugs. One, head over to gfuel.com, use code WyattzWorld, save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products. And two, if you're 18 years or older, you can head over to PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app, where code WyattzWorld will match up to $100 of your first deposit. Always play responsibly, and let's get into my power rankings. Alright guys, so here we are at the ranking list, and it can't be any easier to explain. We've got 32 slots, 32 teams, and that's about it, so let's get rolling. Alright, so starting off with number 32, the worst team in the league, in my opinion, is the Texans. They're just dry and bland, and they have little to nothing going for them right now. They also have one of the worst records in the league currently, and when it comes to scoring points, they are dead last. Alright, number 31, Detroit. I'm sorry guys, I love you. You're just no different than last year. I mean, maybe your offense is a little higher scoring, maybe Okuda's playing better, but as a team, you're the same. They've let up more points than anybody in the league, and I do believe they are currently bottoming the NFL at 1-6. Number 30. Kinda weird because I talk really good about this team, but probably the Steelers? Najee Harris runs like he has literal cement in his shoes. Kenny Pickett cannot figure it out. Your defense is not only banged up, but underperforming. Legitimately, lately, other than the Bucks win, they look like a bottom 3 team. Alright, and moving on to number 29, I'm gonna have to explain this one, the Bears. I gave you guys your respect yesterday. This is specifically because you just got rid of 2 of your key players on defense. As a roster, you guys were never whole, and now you are really incomplete. Okay, number 28, we got the Colts. They're on what, their 6th quarterback experiment in 5 years? Jonathan Taylor's not playing like Jonathan Taylor. Shaquille Leonard could not stay healthy. Frank Reich doesn't even look like he wants to be there anymore. I think there are a lot of teams in this league with the worst record who are better than you. Like number 27, the Jags. I still don't think they're asshole. I know they're declining, and they've been declining over the last couple weeks, but they look better than they did last year. And I think they look better than the Texans and the Lions, the Steelers, probably the Bears now, the Colts. It's just their success comes in spurts, in droughts. I do think they're gonna get it together, but right now I can't put them too high. I got them at 27. Moving on to 26, we've got the Panthers. Look, I've said it since the beginning of the year, and it still stands. They're a dark horse roster that can make anything happen at any time. They've struggled with coaching, they've struggled with quarterback play, they've had some anxiety about getting rid of players and whatnot, which I'm not sure if the deadline goes through the first or if it's over, but this team hangs on to players like DJ, Brian Burns, JC Horn. If they keep them around, they're always gonna have a chance. Moving on, we got the Raiders. You know, another team that I don't think is as bad as their record shows, but they're still not great. I blame Josh McDaniels for a lot of their failures, but this last week you can also kind of look at Derek Carr. As far as talent though, guys, we know they have a lot of it. Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, there's talent. They're just doing nothing with it, and it's holding them at number 25. Okay, 24, we got the Broncos. Glad they got a win versus the Jags, but they still look poor. Good news for them is it's just going to take the strike of a match to figure it out. Maybe at the end of the Jags game, they were already starting to. You know, they're kind of like the Raiders in the sense that they have talent and a lot of it. It's just they can't do anything with it, so it doesn't make sense for them to be down here. But at the same time, it does. Thank God you got a good defense, though. All right, moving on to number 23, we've got the Commanders narrowly. I just think with Heineke, man, they look a little different. Gibson's doing better as a receiving back. Terry's doing better as a wide receiver. Essentially, the whole damn team is doing better without Carson Wentz. You guys just gotta hope Chase Young fucking comes back and actually plays. Up next, we got 22, the Cardinals. I think their offense is very consistent, explosive, and, decently good. Their defense fucking sucks. And you're one of the only few teams in the league who have allowed over 200 points so far this year. That's a fucking issue. All right, 21, we got the Saints. They got a good roster for being 3-5 and not really doing all that well this year. I think they got a lot of playmakers. Michael Thomas, who's been banged up, Olave, Jarvis Landry, Alvin Kamara's been going off. Andy Dalton isn't completely worthless. You know, he can at least make plays. He has experience. Their defense, though, they've just got to stop allowing so many points, kind of like a repeating trend I've said about every team so far. You got Marcus May, Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu, Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, Marcus Davenport. How are you guys getting torched? All right, and on to number 20, we've got the fucking Falcons. What? Look, they're 4-4, barely. They would have lost this game. I could have put them far down as 26. I just don't get it, man. I don't get how this team is 4-4. I hate your quarterback. Aside from Terrell, I hate your defense. Didn't you guys even trade Deion Jones? You don't have Calvin Ridley. Like, how the fuck are you 4-4? Number 19, we got the Packers. Go, Pack, go. The only reason they are up to 19 is because of the fight I saw out of them in the second half of the game versus the Bills. Hard to even really identify what the issue is here. You know, the defense is underperforming. The offense is bare. Matt LaFleur, man, like I said, he's just really struggling to adapt to change. It's also really just gut-wrenching annoying to watch Aaron Rodgers throw fits every time his receivers don't catch a pass, even if it's completely uncatchable. Number 18, we got the Browns. You know they actually have the 6th highest offense in football right now. Isn't that crazy? However, their defense is weighing them down. They did have a nice bounce back against the Bengals. That was tremendous. But they can't be going out there and getting torched and giving up yards in field position like they have been and pretty much do every week. They'll stick in the race this year. I'm just not sure if they're going to make the playoffs or not. On to number 17. Give me the Rams. Super Bowl team? More like a super troll team, man. I don't know how much more defense can be thrown up for them. Like, they have been playing like an absolute mid-team all year long. All year. Cam Akers flopped on you. Matt Stafford looks like hell. Cup is injured now. No aspect of them looks pretty besides the ring that they have on their finger from last year. Up next, we got number 16. Tampa Bay. Here's their last 3 games. Lost to the 2-6 Steelers. Lost to the 2-6 Panthers. By the way, that was a 21-3 ass kicking. And now last Thursday, they again lost to the Ravens at home in front of their own crowd. I don't know if it's Tom's personal life. I don't know if it's Todd Bowles. But even Mike Evans is dropping passes now when he doesn't do that. They don't look that great. All right, moving on to number 15, we got the Jets. The record has them up here at this point, man. Without Brees, with Zach Wilson, they're not as good, but they are still fun to watch, and they are still loaded with a lot of very young, high potential stars. Without a doubt, they are 10,000 times better than they were last year. They're 10,000 times better than they have in the last 10 years. Following the Jets, we've got the New England Patriots. Yeah, well, we just stick to the same game plan every week, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I can't control it. Really, though, the Patriots, they are a tough team. They are like the next boss up from Washington. The most inconsistent part of that team is the quarterback there. Do you want Bailey or do you want Mack? Week in and week out, their defense is showing up. They're never letting their opponent have an easy win. Quarterback or no quarterback, they're able to generate points. They're a solid team. All right, number 13, we got the Chargers. I don't think anyone's really going to argue with that, man. A lot of the problem is Brandon Staley. And another big issue is your guys' defense, man. You're not very good at containing the pass. You're also really bad at protecting the end zone. You're allowing 27 points a game on average. By no means are you guys out. You're still in it. You guys are doing fairly decent this year, but you should be doing a lot better. All right, moving on to number 12, we've got the Bengals. I still like you guys. I still think you're a good team, but you struggled a little bit yesterday, and you might struggle a little bit going forward without Jamar Chase. For one, Zach Taylor is not the best head coach in the league. For 2, Joe Mixon needs to get his head out of his ass. And for 3, I think the passing game is going to come down a little bit because of the distraction Jamar Chase usually causes is absent. Meaning all the eyes are going to be on Boyd and Higgins. It's going to be harder for Burrow to find them. On to number 11, we have got Seattle. Somehow, some fucking way. They're leading the NFC West at 5-3, and they're the 2nd highest scoring team in the league. And they just killed a really good Giants team and a really good Giants defense. The only explanation I truthfully have right now is Seattle is just, they're good. All right, number 10, the Dolphins. They're going to keep climbing with Tua, don't you worry. Without him, yeah, they struggled, but with him, they're a completely different team. Their defense still struggles. I don't know how to stop that. I don't know how to fix that. But that problem is pretty obsolete when Tua has just not lost as a starter in forever. Moving on to number 9, we got the Giants. They just lost to apparently one of the best teams in the league, which was Seattle in Seattle, which, by the way, Seattle is 3-1 at home, and I know as a Vikings fan that stadium is almost impossible to win in. They struggled. They definitely did. But from a record standpoint, they're 6-2, and they've had some very credible wins. Beat the Ravens. They beat the Packers in Lambeau. They beat the Titans, who are now playing very well. I'm not writing them off. Moving on to number 8, we've got the Titans, who are actually the worst offense right now in the entire league. But I don't really give a shit. They might have started off slow, but they are rolling now. They've only allowed more than 20 points one time since their game against Buffalo. Derrick Henry is running like the best running back in the league again, even though he's not Nick Chubb. Mike Vrabel is coaching his ass off. You know, this is looking like the Titans we were left with last year. Last 3 weeks, they have looked like a very good football team no matter who they've played. All right, on to number 7, Baltimore. Especially with the addition of Roquan Smith, man, you guys are going to be good. You guys have always been good. Just focus on putting away games. That's the only negative thing I can say about you. Right now, if you're asking me, you guys have a chance to have a death grip on the AFC North. Number 6, give me the Vikings. One of the best teams in the league, man. Nobody can beat them, it seems. Besides the one team who hasn't lost yet. There's a million things I could say that are wrong with this team, but it wouldn't counter everything that is going right. Kevin O'Connell, with the same offense Mike Zimmer blamed, is going off. Defense might not be perfect, but it's getting the job done. You don't like the Vikings, that's fine, but you gotta understand they're not a fluke team. They are a legitimately good team right now, and I'm not biased for saying that. All right, on to number 5. It is hard. I'm gonna go Dallas. They look really, really good. There's no insults here from on up. Top defense in football. Offense is probably going to turn into be one of the top offenses in football. Just wish their O-line was healthier, and I wish that they would just make the move with Tony Pollard. You guys are going to win more, even though you're, hard to beat right now. You're going to win more with Tony P. Use Zeke at the 1, but if you're going to go down the field, you need a guy who's more explosive, who has more pop in his step. Without a doubt, that is Tony right now. Moving on, we got number 4, San Francisco. I know their record isn't as good as Dallas. It's not as good as the Vikings. It's probably not as good as the Ravens or the Titans or the Giants. But they made some moves and they look like an absolute monster now. Already, in my opinion, we're, one of the best complete teams in football, but now you just added Christian McCaffrey. Wait till Debo comes back. All right, number 3, it is Kansas City. I have no shit to talk other than the fact that we beat your ass 2 weeks ago for what seemed to be like the 10th straight game we've played in Kansas City. But you guys are good. You're really, really good. Also, you just added Kadarius Toney, who at this point it sounded like he was faking an injury. I'm expecting him to just blow up. But that means you guys probably aren't getting Odell. But I think he'll survive considering you have the second most productive offense in the league right now. All right, and number 2, it is Buffalo. There's been one team to beat them. It was Miami by 3 points in Miami, and it's because Buffalo couldn't get out to make the kick. Yeah, I'll use that excuse because it's the fucking truth. Number 1 offense in football. Number 3 defense in football, allowing the least amount of points per game at 14. Nothing you can say to bring this team down, man. They are the truth. And number 1, it is Philly, and I'm gonna make this one as short and as sweet as possible. Nobody has beat them yet. End of story. They're the best team in the league. Much as I don't want to say it, nobody has solved the puzzle. Alright guys, and that is all for my NFL Power Rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you already know what to do to show support. Comment, like, subscribe, turn that bell on. I do my best to post every single day. With everything I just said though, I'm going to hop off and get this shit edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and as always, I will see you in the next video.